Hey, I've just fully replayed Final Fantasy X and I talked about that and then ranked it in the series. I want to talk a bit more about 10 and its Aeons because the summon system and summons, or Aeons in general, are pretty awesome. Gonna rank them all with a tier list, talk about a few bonus ones, and I'm primarily focusing on their designs. But I'll also talk about their abilities and how you acquire them, and full spoilers ahead. Okay, let's start with Anima. She's actually a completely new summon that came with Final Fantasy X, and I love Anima's dark, grotesque design. Anima is powerful but clearly in pain and suffering. I interpret Anima's quivering and screams to be her in pain. And sharing that pain is her unique ability. Technically, Final Fantasy X doesn't have a dark element, but Anima very much embodies the darkness. And with her Oblivion Overdrive, we get to see Anima's even darker form, where some of her restraints are undone and it just looks nasty. So Anima is a secret Aeon. You need to get the hidden treasures from all 6 cloisters of trials across the game. While you can go back and get these later in the game, some of them are guarded by super bosses, and as a young noob back in the day, I remember starting over and making sure I didn't miss the cloister treasures, because I missed them the first time through and I couldn't beat the Dark Aeons blocking the path when I returned later in the game.
Infidel!
Anima is my favourite Aeon in 10. While technically not the most powerful Aeon, at least I can fully control Anima, which you can't do with the other 2 secret summons. Badass design, tragic story, I'm giving Anima S tier. Shiva. I actually quite like Shiva's design in 10. Back in the Final Fantasy VIII tier list, I thought she looked a little bit more like a water aquatic summon than an ice one. The designers get that bit right in 10. She definitely looks like an ice summon, and she's got a pretty feral design here and some crazy dreadlocks. Really cool summon sequence. I love how you get to see her fractured reflection through her eyes. She's got a pretty cool diamond dust overdrive. Might be wrong, but I think this might be the first Final Fantasy in the series where Shiva snaps her fingers and she gives Thanos a little run for his money. Maybe my favourite Shiva design. I think she suits a more elegant design, but I gotta admit she's badass in 10. Another S tier. So another classic, the fire summon Ifrit. Across Final Fantasy, Ifrit looks half beast, half human, and sometimes the designers lean more into the human side or the beast side. Personally, with 10, I think they've lent a little bit too much into the beast side for my liking, with his dog-like snout and being on all fours. He's still decent. I think Ifrit's got a pretty cool overdrive here with Hellfire, where he has a volley of different attacks and ends up just throwing a chunk of earth. I'm gonna give Ifrit a B tier this time. Bahamut. When it comes to Bahamut, I'm all about their classic badass dragon design. 10 has a completely new take on Bahamut, which I shouldn't like, but I actually really like Bahamut's design in 10. Just the way Bahamut has his arms crossed just radiates pride and arrogance. A sharp contrast with his colourful wings, and I love all the gold bits and golden halo. Gold is usually associated with kings, and other Final Fantasy Bahamuts are the Dragon King or Worm King. He's the last story summon you get and the only non-optional one that can break the damage limit by default. He's just that powerful. This is a pretty badass Bahamut, gotta give him an S tier. Next, Yojimbo. This is the optional summon unlocked in the Cavern of the Stolen Faith. He's a katana-wielding samurai with his pet dog. He was an enemy in Final Fantasy V and 6, but first time summon in 10. Kind of cool design. I like the use of the cherry blossom tree when summoning Yojimbo, and I like all the extra little Japanese samurai sounds. He's quite unique as in you can't directly control Yojimbo, instead you pay him each turn to fight. I kinda like that he's got his own unique mechanic and works different to other Aeons. With a bit of luck, Yojimbo can use the most overpowered attack in the game, Zanmato. This move is completely insane and one of the most overpowered things in all of Final Fantasy. It can even one-shot super bosses. I could easily give Yojimbo S tier just for how overpowered he is with his Zanmato overdrive. But honestly, in a way, I think Zanmato takes away from the accomplishments and challenges of fighting super bosses like Nemesis and Penance, so I'm giving Yojimbo A tier instead. Speaking of accomplishments, I've got a segue. Trying to grow the channel. If you're enjoying this, consider subbing to Peter Bytes or liking the video for more content like this. Cover lots of RPGs. You might like my Final Fantasy series where I'm replaying them all and ranking them against each other as I go. Thank you.
There he goes again!
Ixion. So, Lightning Unicorn, completely new summon to 10 at this point in the series, replacing Ramuh as our usual Thunder Element summon. I've got to be honest, being a unicorn, I don't think Ixion has much of a personality or way of expressing themselves compared to the other Aeons. Yeah, not much to say, not a huge fan of Ixion, so don't be shocked with me putting this in C tier. Moving on to Valefor. The first Aeon you acquire, kind of cute, and another completely new summon to 10. I kind of like Valefor as a starter Aeon. I think she's got a pretty cool design. I like the mix of purple and pink colour scheme. Reminds me of first playing Final Fantasy X and using Valefor on absolutely every single enemy early on. I remember she's the only Aeon with a second overdrive you can earn from the dog in Besaid Village. I like Valefor, I'm going to give her A rank. Okay, so in Final Fantasy X, there's 5 major elements. Fire and ice oppose each other, water and lightning oppose each other, and then there's also the holy element. We've got Ifrit for fire, Shiva for ice, Ixion for lightning. There's no water Aeon. I think that's a bit weird when there's such a strong focus of water in 10. But if you think about it, maybe there kind of is a water Aeon. Bear with me, this might sound batshit crazy. Could Tidus be considered the water Aeon?
You serious?
He's a dream created by the faith.
You are a dream.
And that's what summoners call upon. Quote, Aeons are the physical realization of the faith's dreams. And we know for sure Tidus is a dream created by the faith. Everything about Tidus seems to be about the water element, from Blitzball to Brotherhood, his water-based sword. If nothing else, in an alternative reality where we don't break the sin cycle, maybe Tidus is tribute and his final Aeon form might have looked like Leviathan. But you get some unanswered plot holes as well. If Tidus was an Aeon, then maybe Yevon would have tried to possess him like the other Aeons at the end of the game. You could make an argument that Tidus is actually an Aeon. I'm not going to rank him, but I did think it was interesting to think about and look into. Magus Sisters. These were a boss in Final Fantasy IV, and now a first time summon in 10. These are an optional summon. You need to capture all the monsters in Mount Gagazet and defeat certain trials in Ramium Temple. Magus Sisters are quite unique with there being 3 of them, quite useful, quite powerful, and while you can't directly control them, you can give them vague orders in combat. It can be a little frustrating when they completely ignore your orders. Design-wise, they're goofy insectoids. I'm not a huge fan of the Magus Sisters design. I'm gonna have to give them B tier. And finally, the final Aeon, Jecht. can't summon the final Aeon, but it's so awesome, I wanted to talk about it anyway. I love this boss fight, and consider it to be the true final boss of Final Fantasy X, and love the callback to the Otherworld music from the very start of the game. Second phase, he pulls out a giant sword, and he kind of has an overdrive move. It's quite easy to interrupt and cancel his ultimate attack, but if you let him actually fill his bar, it's sadly a pretty underwhelming attack. Love the fight, awesome design with all the little nods to Jecht, like his bandana and the Blitzball logo. It's metal as hell when he rises up and the music starts. Gonna give Final Aeon Jecht S tier, even though he's not playable. There are Dark Aeons too, they're super bosses and part of the final boss with Yu Yevon. I don't have much to say about these, apart from, it was so frustrating fighting Dark Yojimbo because you have to fight him 5 times. I don't want to do that again. I think all the Dark Aeons don't look as good as the original in terms of design. Maybe apart from the Magus Sisters, they look a lot less goofy. Alright, that's 10's Aeons ranked. I'll be talking more about RPGs and my top 10 games of 2024 next, and at some point I'll be moving on to Final Fantasy XI. Loved it back in the day, but I'm kinda dreading returning to it. It's been a while. Alright, peace for now.